Israel H.G.Mukunda, Prabhu की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस जय शता शत शिष्य भक्ति सिद्धांत सिद्धागुरु गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की अनंत गुरु वैष्णववृंद की नामाचार्य चरणदास ठाकुर की श्री सनातन कर्तव्यनाथ जी को पार्वती सतनाथ साहब गोस्वामी प्रभु की प्रेम से गौ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण प्रभु मीनाक्षी मुकुंद राधा कुंद गिरिवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री मथुरा धाम की श्री मायापुर धाम की श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की तुलसी महारानी भक्ति देवी की गंगा यमुना देवी की हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्री श्री गोविंदाय की श्री श्री कृष्ण राम की श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की गो प्रेमानंदे हरे समवेत भक्तवृंद की all glories to the Son of devotees, all glories to the Son of devotees, all glories to the Son of devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Ranga, all glories to Shri Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Charvanarottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtate Shadesha Nittam Bhavadise Bhavadittam Shloke Bhavadya Bhavadina Shrike. So reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 1st chapter, text number 16. Api tavat vipriya sadeham arabdham asnan abhimana sunya yata anubhutam pratiyata mitra kintu अन्यदेहाय गुणान् न वृक्ते भुक्तोऽपि तावत् विप्रियत्सदेहम् अरब्धमश्नन्नभिमानशून्यः यथानुभूतं प्रतीयात्तनिद्रा किं त्वन्यदेहाय गुणं न वृङ्क्ते भुक्तोऽपि तावत् विप्रियत्सदेहम् अरब्धमश्नन्नभिमानशून्यः यथानुभूतं प्रतीयात्तनिद्रा किं त्वन्यदेहाय गुणान् न वृङ्क्ते भुक्तोऽपि तावत् विप्रियत्सदेहम् अरब्धमश्नन्नभिमानशून्यः यथानुभूतं प्रतीयात्तनिद्रा किं त्वन्यदेहाय गुणान् न वृङ्क्ते
मुक्तोऽपि तावत् विप्रियत्सदेहम् आराप्त अस्नान् अभिमानशून्यः अनुभूतं प्रतीयात्तनिद्रः अन्यदेह गुणान् विकृन्ते
Mataji's. Mukta, a liberated person, Api, even, Tavat, Sulam, Vipriya, must maintain, Swadeyaham, his own body, Arabdham, obtained as a result of past activity, Ashnan, accepting, Abhimana Shunya, without erroneous conceptions, Yatha, as, Anubhutam, what was perceived, Pratiyat Nidra, one who was awakened from sleep, Kintu, but Anidehaya, for another material body, Guna, the material qualities, Na, never, Brekte, enjoys. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Even if one is liberated, he nevertheless accepts the body he has received according to his past karma. Without misconceptions, however, he regards his enjoyment and suffering due to that karma the way an awakened person regards a dream he had while sleeping. He thus remains steadfast and never works to achieve an unmaterial body under the influence of the three modes of material nature. Purport. The difference between a liberated and conditioned soul is that a conditioned soul is under the concept of bodily life, whereas a liberated person knows that it is not the body but a spirit different from the body. Priyavrata might have thought that all a conditioned soul is forced to act according to the laws of nature. Why should he, who has advanced in spiritual understanding, accept the same kind of bondage and impediments as spiritual advancement? To answer this doubt, Lord Prabhu informed him, even those who are liberated do not resent accepting the present body the result of their past activities. While sleeping, one dreams many unreal things. When he awakens, he disregards them and makes progress in natural life. Similarly, a liberated person, one who has completely understood that he is not the body but a spirit soul, disregards past activities performed in ignorance and performs his present activities in such a way that they produce no reactions. This is described in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, text number 9. If one performs activities for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality, the Yajna Purush, his work does not produce reactions, whereas karmis, when for themselves, are bound by the reactions of their work. A liberated person therefore does not think about whatever he has ignorantly done in the past. Instead, he acts in such a way that he will not produce another body by fruitive activities. It's clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Nam chayam yavacharena bhakti yogena sevate sadhanam samitidyayam brahman vayaya kalpate. When he engages in full devotional service, he does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Regardless of what we have done in our past lives, if we engage ourselves in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord in this life, we will always be situated in the Brahma Dutta, liberated state, free from reactions, and will not be obliged to accept another material body. After giving up the body, one who has acted in that way does not accept another material body, but instead goes back home, back to Godhead. Om Adhyatmiradasya Janasalataya Chaksuratnaritam Janandasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manavastam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Dadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Bandeyam Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamaram Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagaratam Sagana Raghunatam Vidnatam Sadevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijansatam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Param Sagana Lalita Sri Vishwadam Hey Krishna Guruna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Saurikarata Radha Kanta Namastude Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrijnavan Sudevi Pranami Hari Priye Kanchakalpa Krupyascha Krupa Sindhu Vecha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnarebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukto Ekavati Princhadeham Araktam Ashnam Vimamna Shunya Yatana Bhutam Pratiyata Netra Kim Kanya Dehaya Vananda Vinte. Even if one is liberated, he nevertheless accepts the body he has received according to his past karma. Without misconceptions, however, he regards his enjoyment and suffering due to the karma the way an awakened person regards a dream he had while sleeping. He thus remains steadfast and never works to achieve another material body, under the influence of the three modes of material nature. So here, in this chapter, the activities of Maharaj Priyavata described how he was under the advice and instruction of Narada Muni. He had gone to perform tapasya, and as Narada Muni is a great singing person and is mostly telling those who are under him or those who are here, he's preaching to mostly to not become entangled in material activities. In other words, not to enter into Grihastha ashram. So, under the advice of Narada Muni, Maharaj Priyavrata, so he was ready to simply stay in a secluded place and perform tapasya and meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead in order to achieve the goal of life, realization of one's own self, Atma Sakshatkar, and realization of the Supreme Lord and the relationship with the Supreme Lord. But due to the need of having a king again, an emperor again, so the father of Maharaj Priyavrata requested him to become married and take up the responsibility of an emperor. And so then because he was not ready to do that, then Lord Brahma, he had to come and he had to also explain to him that it is actually the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he was not just simply saying, I'm ordering you, I'm telling you, you should get married. No, but he was referring to the ultimate authority. Although Lord Brahma is the creator of this world, as even he is addressed a few verses ago as Bhagavan, because he's fully absorbed in the service of the Lord. So these great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Shukadeva Goswami, even Bhrigu Muni, even Lord Indra, they are addressed as Bhagavan in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So one who has all opulences, the Supreme Lord. Bhagavan is the meaning of the personality who has all opulences. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. But here, of course, in this case, it refers to Lord Brahma, who is exalted, who is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore is almost as good as the Supreme Lord. Sri Pranitaya ki, Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Sri Radha Shama Sundar ki. As we say every day, the Guru Ashtakam, in the morning, praise to the Supreme Master, Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Sastra. So his Sakshat Dhari is practically as good as the Supreme Lord, the pure devotee, Guru. So Lord Brahma is also Guru Jan, is a spiritual master, is our, after Krishna is Adi Guru in our Sampradaya. So his instructions should be followed. But as a great devotee is always very humble and depending on the Supreme Lord, so he told Priyavrata that we have to act by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is his will that you should get married. And so, of course, as we know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself was also coming to, of course, ultimately bless and inspire Maharaj Priyavrata. So, here, Lord Brahma is explaining about the liberated person, Mukto. So, of course, there are different kinds of liberated persons, Mukta. And so, first of all, the Nitya Mukta, they are those who are eternally perfect, who are never under the influence of three modes of material nature. Of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is also everything. Whenever he is coming in this material world or his expansions, they are never under three modes of material nature. Similarly, the Nitya Mukta, Nitya Siddha, those who are eternally perfect, the associates of the Lord, like, for example, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, so his associates are coming with him, or when Radha and Krishna are coming, their associates are coming with them. Like Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba, Shrimati Radhani, Lalita Vishaka, Ruparati Manjari, the friends of Krishna, Sudam, Sridam, Kinki, Arjun, Subha, Madhumangal, the servants, Ratkar, Patra. So they're all liberated souls. There's no question that they will ever become conditioned. So they're ever liberated. So, but then there are some living entities So who come in this material world and they become conditioned, and they have been conditioned then as soon as they come to this material world. They are conditioned, therefore they are called Nitya Bada or Anadi Bada. Since time immemorial they are conditioned. But by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, who wants to bring all the conditioned souls to the spiritual rank, so they may also become liberated. And now even of those who have become liberated, there are different categories also. For example, those by performing sadhana, they may become liberated, they are called sadhana siddha. And those who have achieved special mercy by the Supreme Personality of Godhead's desire, or by the desire, by the mercy of the pure devotee of the Lord, they are known as Kripa Siddha, even though they may not have executed devotional service very rigidly according to sadhana, bhakti, but because they have done something very special, they have become the object of the Supreme Lord's special mercy. But of course, even those Kripa Siddhas, usually they are well behaved as devotees, but at the same time, they may not be completely absorbed in devotional activities, but they have done something special and they may get the mercy of the Lord. Just like in this material world, many times you may see that some persons, they are getting the degree, or they are becoming professor or doctor, they are getting some distinction like that due to some outstanding activity, even though they may not have studied up to the end in order to get the degree or to become a professor or to get a PhD. But they have done something special. Like you can see even in India, so the cricket stars are there, as we know, and Tendulkar and so on. So they have not gone through the school up to the highest level, but because they have done something outstanding according to the vision of the government and the people in India who love cricket, so they become doctors. So a special recognition due to having done something special without having completely finished the studies. Similarly, even though one has been performing devotional service, but if he's not so much inclined towards chanting so many rounds and worshipping the deities and studying the scriptures, serving the spiritual master constantly, so he may still get the special mercy if he has done something special. But if he has not done something special, there's no way he will get the special mercy of the Lord. It is not possible. And that is usually very rare, Kripa Siddha. And even actually those who are doing sadhana bhakti very nicely, ultimately they must get the mercy of the Lord and the pure devotee. Otherwise they cannot achieve perfection. Simply by performing sadhana, it is not possible to achieve perfection on our own endeavor. And that he himself, Lord Brahma has explained that in the previous verses, that it is not possible simply by performing these spiritual activities, simply by studying the scriptures or by performance of mystic yoga. It is not possible. Even by Naivarta Dharma, by following dharma, that one can get the Supreme Lord's favor, or that one may be able so much so to even defy the order of the Supreme Lord. It is not possible. Anyavilashita shunyam jnana karmanaditam anukulim Krishna nushiranam bhaktiruttamam. Anushiranam, according to Krishna's desire, anukul bhav, favorable mood, without desiring anything for our own. So, when one has this proper mood and bhav, and one is executing devotional service, then one will get the mercy of the Lord. His sweet will. There's one of the verses in the scriptures which is saying the same thing, that not by hearing, not by shrutena, bahushrutena, not by much hearing, although hearing is extremely important. Guru Padashraya, we have to take shelter of the Spirit Master, and then we have to hear, and not only one day or a few days, or a little bit, but one has to hear every day, and only after a long time actually bhakti will be established. Prabhupada is explained in many purports in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam in some verses also that we have to Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya, Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya, serving the Bhagavat. The Srimad Bhagavatam, Nitya means eternally or daily, every day, constantly. So we have to very much hear, but even that by itself is not sufficient in order to get the Lord's mercy, or by doing tapasya or being brahmachari. That is all recommended, that is all required, but ultimately that is not enough. It is ultimately by the sweet will of the Lord that we can attain full perfection and realize ourselves in our relationship with Krishna. And Krishna's Kirman Lalichan Sundar, very beautiful form, 23 places, holding the flute, Pitambaresh, wearing a yellow dhoti. So this Sakshat Darshan, and realization of our soul, and realizing our relationship according to our Swarup. And then the loving exchange. So to attain that perfection, so in order to do that, we have to be very serious, very sincere, and fully dedicated with body, mind, and words. And then when we get the attention of the pure devotees and the Supreme Lord, then we can get the complete mercy of the Lord. So Mukta, so that means here, so liberated person. And so even next to the devotees, also besides the devotees, there are so many other persons who are sometimes accepted as liberated. Those who are, for example, adoring the impersonal aspect of the Absolute Truth, the Mayavadis, or even those who are performing Ashtanga Yoga and may have realization of Paramatma, who is residing in everyone's heart, accompanying the jivas in this material world. They may be also accepted as liberated, although they are not fully liberated. So that is about mukta, liberated person. So here that is continuing, api tavat bripyat swadeham. So as long as one is maintaining swadeham, one's own body, so then Arabdhan, one will obtain, due to the result of one's past activities, so this body one has obtained, and then one will get also the reactions due to these previous activities. So of course here again, to the same point of different kinds of liberated persons, those who are Nityasiddha, those who come here by the will of the Lord, or those who are fully liberated due to performing devotional service in previous life, and so they are never under the three modes of material nature. So the body is not the result of their past activities, and even if there is some so-called enjoyment or suffering, it is completely transcendental. They have nothing to do with the three modes of material nature. That we have to clearly understand. But here, very clearly, so this is actually is understood here that this is referring to a person who has become liberated, and he will see, as here later on it is explained in the verse, and Prabhupada is explaining purport. So whatever is happening now to him, whatever good he's getting, so he's accepting that as the mercy of the Lord, and whatever difficulties are there, or suffering he's experiencing, he will see that also as the mercy of the Lord, or he will see that this is due to my past sinful activities. And due to that, I'm in this situation now, but I'm not desiring another body, so I will simply continue with devotional service, and I'm tolerating whatever is happening now. So, of course, a very subtle point here. Sometimes even the Nitya-Mukta, the eternal liberated souls, when they're in this world, they're acting just like conditioned souls. And they will say, I'm suffering in this world due to my past sinful activities. My dear Lord, please relieve me from this suffering. And I don't want to take another material body again. They may say so. Even we can see Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying sometimes in this way, but is actually just simply speaking in that way just for our benefit. So we may pray in this way, but they are never liberated. So therefore, when we read the scriptures, and of course we have to read the purports very carefully, and we have to use our intelligence, and we have to be contemplative. We have to contemplate the subject matter, and not just simply read and yes, simply accept. But we have to also use our intelligence, and we have to think very deeply about the subject matter. What Krishna is saying, what the Supreme Lord is saying, what Lord Brahma is saying, what Srila Prabhupada is saying. And many times Prabhupada is saying one thing in one place, another thing in another place. And then we have to reconcile. Even here in this instance, Narada Muni is telling Priyavrata, you should not enter Grihastha ashram. So you have to follow him, right? Narada Muni, his guru. How we cannot follow him? And but then Lord Brahma is coming. You should get married. Well, there is quite some problem here. Two great personalities are saying a different thing. So what can I do now? What should I do? I cannot say no to Narada Muni. He's my guru, right? And Brahmaji, Prabhupitama is the father, he's the Adi Guru. He's the father of Narada Muni, and so in this way also he's guru practically. So I can also disobey him what to do. So then one has to use one's intelligence in such a case, and one has to reconcile. Even here sometimes in the temple we see one authority saying one thing, the president is saying something, and then the department head is saying something else. So now what to do? So we have to be very humble, and one has to use one's intelligence, and one has to see and act in such a way that nobody will be offended. And if one is in this humble way and very using his intelligence and contemplating and praying to the Lord, then he will be guided properly, and then everything will be properly adjusted. Like here, everything was properly adjusted. So he was also, revealing that I don't want to get entangled. And then Brahma said, you don't worry. You have my mercy. You will have the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And then there's no entanglement, no problem. So then he also used the instruction of Narada Muni not to get entangled and remain practically brahmachari also. Those who are in the Grihastha ashram but follow the order of the Guru. And they are also brahmacharis. They are known as Grihastha brahmacharis. They will not engage in sex life without the order of the Supreme, of the Spiritual Master. Even in order to have a child, at that time, previously, nowadays maybe not so much, and sometimes there's an accident, what to do. But usually when they control the Grihasthas, those who are brahmanically inclined, worshipping the Lord and studying the scriptures, doing sadhana bhajan, they can control their mind and senses, especially if they're empowered like here, but even others, they can also remain strong, and then they will take the permission of the Spiritual Master to perform Garbhadhan and Sanskar. They will choose a day when they do the ceremony of coming closely, intimately with the wife, and that is only at a certain time in a month, according to Jyoti Shastra, so according to the Shastra, when it's an auspicious day. And in this way they are completely transcendental, they are not affected by the three modes of material nature. As Krishna says, Kamosvi, and sex life, which is not against the Vedic injunctions. According to the Shastra one was performing, that one is transcendental. And even Prabhupada said that day one should chant 50 rounds. So in this way, that the consciousness is purified, and one is Krishna conscious by chanting more instead of only chanting 16 rounds. So in this way, one can be transcendently situated, and so in this way there is no difficulty. So Priyavata Maharaj, so he ultimately then accepted the advice of Brahma, and he didn't disobey Narada Muni, and Narada Muni he understood that is following the order of the Supreme Lord, and he also blessed him, and so he could remain brahmachari, grihastha brahmachari. So these great personalities, they are completely transcendental, especially those who are coming from the spiritual realm, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But even others who are sadhakas, who are practicing, and if they're following strictly the order of the spirit master, then they can also transcend the modes of material nature and be properly situated. And then in this case, just like here, they may pray, so they may not become entangled, even though they may be situated in Grihastha, and so they may be able to overcome this situation, which is very difficult. And therefore, we can see all these great sages, just to set the example also. And that at some point, they're saying, that is enough. I've been enough in the Grihastha ashram now. I've been enough in the position of king. So now it is time to go on. Because when you're in this position, then you have to deal with so many materialistic persons. So then in this case, then there is some even apparent contamination, and some kind of disturbance will be there. It is practically unavoidable, like the Pandavas. They were pure devotees, but it's not that they were always happy, and no problem. Of course, they were always happy, transcendently situated, but they had also to undergo many, many difficulties, as we know, because of the Kauravas. They wanted to kill them many times. And they insulted them. It's not that, yeah, okay, Trinada Pisunichena, we have to be very humble. They were boiling over, like doing when they were trying to take the clothes away from Draupadi in the assembly of great personalities, Rajasabha. Everyone was there, even Bhishmadev, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, all these great personalities, and they were quiet. Because somehow they were engaged by the Kauravas and ultimately by the will of the Lord. So they had to keep quiet, they couldn't say anything. And then Bhima and Arjuna, Yudhishthira, he was more controlled. And so his nature was like that, although he was a king and extremely powerful, and Chivalra is like a king, but he was controlled, like very kind of sattvic king. But Bhima and Arjuna, they were real Kshatriyas, and they were boiling over. They were extremely angry, very angry, very extremely angry. And but that anger was transcendental also, because they were never disconnected from Krishna, and they were always remembering Krishna, or always wanting to serve Krishna. But still, so the anger was there. So sometimes the devotees also, so they become sad if things are not going on nicely. But if Krishna is in the center, then it is transcendental. And sometimes they become bewildered. They don't know what to do. What shall I do now? Even Prabhupada, just before he left, so he was sitting here on the Kamal tree, and and he was telling his devotees also, I don't know what Krishna wants me to do now. So he wants me to stay longer, he wants me to leave this world. So sometimes it is like that. Even sometimes he was asking his disciples, what shall I do now in ordinary dealings? But it doesn't mean that they are bewildered like the materialistic persons, no. No, that is transcendental bewilderment. Just for some small instance. Even Krishna is becoming bewildered. Many times he's bewildered. Mukunda is Sarvagya, he knows everything, but sometimes he's mukta, he's bewildered. He doesn't know what he should do now. For example, when the coward boys, the friends, they saw this big kind of thing there lying on the ground. A big hole was there, it was looking like a snake. What is it? And some wind was coming out and some strange smell, and they were not exactly knowing what was going on. They were bewildered, but not by Mahamaya, but by Yogamaya. So then they were saying, anyway, whatever it is, we don't know exactly, but we're just going inside because Krishna will protect us. Krishna is there. Although they didn't even know that Krishna is God, but somehow, whenever Krishna is around, the problems are solved. So mystically, how Krishna is doing, we don't know. Because he's just like a boy like us. But still, and even Krishna, when he saw they were going inside, for one moment in his explaining, he was thinking, what is this here? What should I do now? So he didn't know exactly what to do for a few seconds. But, so his mukta is a little bewildered. So that the pastimes can go on. But then again, he's Sarvagya, he knows everything. And then he understood, yes, this is one big demon sent by Kamsa, and we'll take care of him, no problem. And even when Maria Yashoda was breastfeeding Krishna, and then Krishna, so he was sucking mother's breast and he was very happy, and although his Atmaram is fully satisfied, up to come, he doesn't need anything, he doesn't have any desire ultimately, he's fully satisfied. He doesn't need anybody's help ultimately to be satisfied. Everything is coming from him. But still, then he's performing his pastimes, and that is giving him some more pleasure. So then Maria Yashoda saw the milk was boiling over, so she had to take care of the milk. The milk was in ecstasy, was boiling over, wanted to serve Krishna also. Maria Yashoda put Krishna down, and then Krishna, so he became angry. Why she's putting me down and I still want to take some more milk? Like he needs more milk. And then she was taking care of the milk, and then as we know Krishna, so he was going in the other room breaking the pots. And then Maria Yashoda came back, where is my Lala, where is my son? And she's looking in the other room, seeing the pots are broken, she knew this is my Krishna, naughty boy. So then she's taking a stick, running behind Krishna. And then Krishna, so then he was running away, he was small at that time, so he could not run so fast, and she quickly came behind him, and she caught him. Although the Supreme Lord we cannot catch, but because she has love, she has prem, she has love, she could catch the Supreme Lord. Anyone can catch here the Supreme Lord? Anyone here who is catching Krishna? Raise your hand. Anyone can catch Krishna? Who is running after Krishna? I'm running after Krishna. Anybody is running after Krishna here? Nobody is running after Krishna? What are you running after? You're running after Maya or what? So we have to run after Krishna. So who is running after Krishna? We have to run after Krishna. If you're running, you start running, please. Otherwise you will catch him before you give up his body. And then what do we want? We want to embrace Krishna. So in order to do that, we have to give up the embrace of Maya. So she caught him because of her love. Otherwise, if you don't have love, you cannot catch Krishna. You can't run your whole life. So we have to purify our consciousness by hearing and serving, and yes, by the mercy of the Spirit Master, then we may be able to catch Krishna and embrace Krishna. So Maria Yashoda, she caught him, and then Krishna, he became afraid. And Mother Kunti also, she was praying, how is this? Fear personified is afraid of you. But you're afraid of Mother Yashoda and you're crying. You're crying. The tears were coming and they became black. Because you had this black ointment there, kajal. Like the ladies also putting here, even when the young ladies are there, they put in, they become very beautiful. So even they put for the small boys when they're small, and they sometimes put a dot here to protect, for protection, or they put here someone, somebody Yashoda was doing for Krishna also, they become very beautiful. You can see some Brijbasi ladies also doing that for their children, they become very beautiful then. So then, because of these, the tears which were coming down, they were black. They were becoming black. So Krishna was making a show to cry. Was he making a show? No, he was actually afraid of Mother Yashoda, really afraid. Mukda. So that is Yoga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti. When Antaranga Shakti is not remembering that is God. And he's a small boy, he's crying, he was really crying. So sometimes he knows everything, and then he's bewildered, he doesn't know anything, and again he knows everything. So then she caught him, and then she took care. So she, of course, first she wanted to beat him, but they said, no, he's a small boy, why you want to beat him? And she took some rope, as we know, and then again, Sarvakya, he knows everything, and he's the Supreme Lord, and nobody can bind him. So she tried to bind him, but she couldn't. She had to try so hard. She still could not bind, the rope was too short. 2 fingers. What are the 2 fingers? Anybody knows? Our endeavor and mercy. Yes, so we have to endeavor. And then we need mercy of the Lord. Then we can bind Krishna. So like that. So the pure devotees, so even as the sadhakas, so they are constantly endeavoring, and then they can get the mercy of the Lord. They will get the mercy of the Lord. So it's explained here by Srila Prabhupada. So for those who are practically liberated, Even that is a verse from the scriptures. So there it is explained, if one is constantly engaged with body, mind and words in the service of the Lord, that is to be considered mukta, liberated, even if there may still be some material desires or some deficiencies, or I may sometimes do something wrong. But if he's constantly engaged in devotional activities, he's to be considered liberated. He's a sadhu. Even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Abhichet Bhajantamam Ananyava, Sudurachar. There's achar, what to do. Durachar, things which one should not do. And sudur, very bad activities. But if one is constantly engaged in devotional service, Ananya Bhakti, if by chance, somehow, by some accident, one is doing something wrong, still is to be considered sadhu. And then will be forgiven. But of course, if it is happening again and again, then we understand there's some insincerities there. So we have to be always sincere and serious and try not to deviate, and try not to fall from our position, not only externally but even internally. We have to check our consciousness and always try to be positively engaged with the proper mood, respect towards others, always depending on the Lord. And then even if some difficulties are there due to this material world, especially if one is in the management position or the household ashram, difficulties are there. But by the mercy of the Lord, if one is simply continuing devotional activities, then he will attain success ultimately. So, Tyaktva Vyahamkuna Janma, Naiti Mameti Swarjuna, after giving up this body, he will not take birth again. So that is from the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna has explained in few verses, if one is returning to the spiritual world, he will not come back. But it is also saying that one should try not to fall down. If one is not falling down, then he will not come back. And Janma Karma Chamedivam Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. Janma Karma Chamedipyam. So Evam Yoveti. So one who knows the Janma Karma, which is Dipya, the birth and the activities of Krishna, if one is properly understanding them, Tattvata, in truth. If one is knowing them in truth. So one has to know them in truth. That means one has to get the knowledge, and then one has to practice devotional service, and then one must realize the subject matter. That means then Tattvata, in truth one has realized. Then one will not take birth. If we only have some theoretical knowledge but no realization, Krishna is God and not his body. But if we don't have the realization, then we have to take birth again. So that is very clear. Mentioned by Prabhupada also. And the previous acharyas. So we must have practical realization. And then we'll be liberated, and then we can go back home, back to Godhead. So like that. So we have to be constantly engaged in spiritual activities. So with a proper mood. So whatever it may be, by the order of the Spirit Master, Guru Padashta, we take shelter of the Spirit Master, and we follow the instructions of the Spirit Master. Whatever seva, Guru Dat seva. So whatever the Spirit Master is giving that seva we should do, or under the guidance of the representative of the Spirit Master. So we should perform devotional service, and then by diligently doing that, seva, so seva has to be there, seva bhav has to be there, and then by chanting properly the holy names and worshipping the deities and in the association of devotees, always crying for the mercy of Guru, Rama and Krishna, then we may achieve perfection, even though one may be in the grihastha ashram, even though one may be engaged in management, which is a very difficult task. But one can still attain perfection. But even then you can see, as explained, that all these great souls at one point, they gave up the duties as a king or emperor, or they renounced household life, and they entered the next ashram, vanaprastha ashram, giving up these external activities because it is an entanglement, even for a pure devotee, and some discomfort is there. So therefore, just to also teach us that they are acting in such a way, although they may be going on continuously as pure devotees, but just to teach us. They're also showing at a certain point, you have to just say, this is enough now. I had enough as president. Now I should just simply hear and chant and study the scriptures. Even it is explained, the different varnas and ashram, as Brahma was explaining, we have to follow very strictly. Otherwise we cannot properly advance. We cannot just say, I'm doing bhakti, no need of this varna ashram. No, we have to follow. And then so, brahmacharis, they have to follow some rules and regulations. The grihastas, vanaprasthas, sannyasis, and according to the varna also, brahmanas are acting in a certain way. And the kshatriyas, the vaishyas, and the shudras, so we have to act according to that, but always understanding I am the eternal son of Krishna, and ultimately I have nothing to do with this world, even with this vanashram, but I have to act in such a way, just to save myself from any difficulties, from any fall down, and just also to instruct others, to teach others, to set a good example. We have to follow. So they were doing all these great sages. Like for Vanaprastha, that means they have to study the scriptures more, they have to perform austerity, they have to stay away from materialistic persons. So they were all doing that. Like Priyavata, we can see Satyavrata and Prithu Maharaj's sons, Dhruva Maharaj, all of them, they were doing that. So we have to follow the instructions of Guru Sadhu Shastra, the Spirit Master, the scriptures, the Supreme Lord, and then we can be successful. It is just a matter of time. So we are practically all liberated. But we have to try to become fully liberated, and it is only a matter of time. So we are very fortunate. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes, microphone is there. Microphone? No microphone? Okay, you speak loudly.
Prabhuji.
Microphone? Yes, speak.
Prabhuji, you said that even when we sadhak bhaktas, we have to get the kripa of Krishna to get.
Yes, even as sadhaka bhaktas, we have to get the mercy of Krishna.
So as sadhak bhaktas, we have our chanting and 4 regulative principles, and we
Yes.
have our service, and it might go on for years. What can we do to get that special mercy?
Yes, so as sadhakas we have to follow the rules and regulations, the regulative principles, we have to do seva. So how we can get the mercy of the Lord? Yes. Yes, so by doing seva, you get the mercy of the Lord. Seva is very important, seva. You have to do seva. Jivara Sukho Nityera Krishna Das. We are servants of Krishna, so we have to do seva. And actually whatever we are doing should be in seva bhav. Bhagavata sevaya. We are serving the Srimad Bhagavatam. How? We may do arti, even sometimes when our Bhagavad Saptaha traditionally, they will offer Panchanga, Panchopachar, Gandha Pushpa Dhumdik Naivedya. They will offer some Chandan Seva, they will offer flowers, they will offer an incense, they will offer Gina, they will offer Bhoga to the Bhagavatam, Seva, or simply also hearing attentively the Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Bhagavad Seva. So we have to do Seva, and then we have to, of course, serve the Vaishnavas, serve the Spirit Master, and actually we have to do whatever the Spirit Master wants. And then by doing that Seva, given by the Spirit Master, we can get all perfection. And actually getting the mercy of Krishna, how we get the mercy? By serving the Spirit Master. And when the Spirit Master is satisfied, then you can get his mercy, and then when you have his mercy, then you can get the mercy of Krishna. Okay? So, Hare Krishna. Any other question? Everything very clear, so we just continue with performing our devotional service and all perfection will be there. Srila Prabhupada ki, Sisi Gauritai ki, Sisi Krishna Bhagavan ki, Sisi Radha Shama Sundar ki. So everyone can come forward here and take some